Thank you all for joining us. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We hope you have your chat feature up. Again, it's gonna be a round robin. So Ed Roche, we are going to start with you. During this time, you cannot network with people face to face. What are some other ways that you can effectively network if you cannot meet people face to face?
Well, it's obvious one way to do it is just to set up a virtual call and invite people to it. I believe that LinkedIn can be your best friend at a time like this. I know I have over 2,000 contacts that I have collected over the years in LinkedIn, and spending time reconnecting with those folks is something I've intended to do, but you just never find the time until you can sit in front of a PC like this and just start making phone calls, see who will pick up and who will talk to you and find out more. You'll be amazed at how many people are willing to just move the relationship along a little further. And of course, you have to provide something that will be useful. Don't just go glom on, but be ready to give something away, something useful to the people that you're trying to connect with. And I think that's one of the most valuable things you can do. If you haven't set up any virtual calls yourself, get to it. Start with the next 10 folks in your family that you haven't talked to in a year or so.
Thank you, Ed. Kim, would you like to go next?
You know, I totally agree. Yeah, I think that it's a perfect time. In fact, a better time than ever, actually, because we have some time to reconnect. And it's been really astonishing how much I've connected with people that I've, businesses and personal friends and family and so on, that I haven't connected with in a while, because we do have the time and the means to do it. Another thing that I think you might want to consider if you are on social media, like on Facebook, for example, or on LinkedIn, you know, joining some new groups, getting affiliated with some other groups that you might naturally align with on your business side or your personal side. Because I mean, ultimately, you know, people do business with people. So if you have some similar interests, or you have some things that you might offer through the group, or just kind of a dialogue, really, to let them get to know you during this time when they have the opportunity to get to know you. That's critical. It's a big deal, and it's certainly worth doing.
Thank you. Kevin and Palmer.
Sure. So what I would add to that is, in addition to obviously keep engaging with your current clientele, I don't think there's a single chamber of commerce that isn't doing virtual happy hours, after hours. So, you know, obviously continue to participate and lean on your chamber of commerce to facilitate those meetings that can be so beneficial and provide that atmosphere for directly connecting with other like-minded business owners. I'd also say that those business owners that may have neglected their social following, this is the perfect time to create a customized message for everybody that engages with your business right now, not only to stay relevant in the conversation, but, you know, what other choice do most business owners have right now? You know, you're losing that face-to-face contact. So do everything you can to personalize messages and stay in the conversation.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, everything that Kevin said, I completely agree. He said it perfectly.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. So here's a good question that I think is really important, and you guys can probably give a good feedback on this one, is, do I need to post on my social media accounts every day?
Oh.
And I think we started with Ed, so we'll start with Kim.
Okay, so you're not going to like this answer, because I guess it depends. A lot of our clients, it depends on your industry, it depends on the traction you currently have in social media. If you're just getting started, I would certainly recommend, almost regardless of your industry, to kind of start strong and start to push some good content out there. But I would say the one rule I tell people to follow is, if you're going to do social media, be sure to do it well. Don't just get out there and start posting willy-nilly stuff that is not consistent with your brand messaging. So you want to be deliberate, intentional about your messaging. You want to be on brand, and you want to have a purpose, right? So the social media strategy should be a part of your bigger marketing strategy. And I think, you know, the amount of posting is really going to depend. It's going to probably be seasonal, depend on, you know, what kind of business you're in and so on. But like restaurants, we have several restaurant clients that we post every day. Salons, a lot of B2C, so we're posting almost every day. But it's not necessary to do that if you're, you know, if you're B2B, or maybe you have a little bit more exclusive audience or more strategic target specific audience. So it just depends. But certainly get out there. It's the least expensive way to reach a broad audience.
Perfect. Kevin or Palmer?
I couldn't agree with Kim more. And, you know, this is advice that I think is consistent, whether someone comes and sees me for legal advice and wants an immediate answer, or they're coming to my digital marketing agency. And unfortunately, sometimes the answer is just, it depends. And just like Kim said, I see so many business owners take the spray and pray approach to content where it's not strategic, it's not on point, and quite frankly, it's kind of like puking on their clientele constantly. It's overburdensome, it's verbose, and it's not directly tailored to being authentic to who they really are. So one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Andy Frisella, I think says it best: open your mouth and get on social media when you have something that adds value to the conversation, not just to simply post and burden your clientele.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like there's this idea, I first heard it from Gary Vaynerchuk, talking about, you know, jab, jab, and then right hook. And it's this idea that you should constantly be putting out content. But I don't know if you've ever sat in a room with someone who talks just to talk. It can get annoying after a while. And so I kind of feel like that's exactly what we're doing on social media. Whenever it's like, okay, I've got to post today. It's like, well, not necessarily, man. I mean, if you don't have anything to say, then you probably shouldn't be saying anything. And especially Facebook is just so inundated with all of these pages putting out content that not a single user is really interested in most of the time. I mean, unless you're actually saying something authentic, unless you're actually offering something that folks are interested in consuming as far as content goes. So,
well, Palmer, we've stress tested this so much with our current clients about people that just want to post. We care more about posting every day and not falling into a strategic strategy long term that fits their brand, mission, vision, and core values. And we see not only their engagement plummet, but also their following disappear. So yeah, it's very important to be intentional and really add value every time that you post.
You know, one strategy, oh, I'm sorry, Palmer.
No, you're good. I was just going to add one last note. If you post one time in a month, but you put $500 behind it with an ad spend, you're going to see a huge amount of results from that compared to just posting a new thing every day. Sorry about that, Kim. Go ahead.
No, you're good. One of the things we recommend to our clients, and we work with them directly on this, is looking at your what we call content buckets. Yeah. So as you rotate out your posts, and say you're on Instagram or Facebook or anything really, it's a function of deciding what categories of content that you can speak intelligently about that reaches your audience, like Kevin said, in an authentic way, and then kind of building a rotation. So you don't want to post, even with my restaurant clients, we don't post pictures of food every day. We post things that are relevant to the audience, but not necessarily self-promoting or whatever, but also consistent with the brand kind of character, the brand personality, of the restaurant. So content categories, content buckets, and rotating those in and out gives you some kind of guidance on the type of content you're going to want to create. And also honestly takes the a little bit of the heavy lifting off your plate, like a little bit of the burden off your plate to think, okay, every day I've got to post, like let's say you're a gym. Every day I've got to post a video about how to accomplish, better abs, or I don't even know. You don't have to do that if you look at a more full framework for what your brand message is, and then categorize it and build it out and schedule.
Perfect. Thank you. Ed, what about you?
Yeah, I would just chime in with all of us have passion, and a lot of folks will put their passion in their posts that they're doing daily anyway. And what I would just caution you all to do is to do as Kim and Kevin and Palmer suggested already, which I know all of you have already forgotten about. And that is, think about what you truly are passionate about, what you really want to do, what your strategic vision is. Think about that and then come up with the messaging, and that's what you post. If you can post about your cat and your dog and your love of a particular candidate or not a candidate, find the time to post about your business in the right way. Post maybe 9 times about helpful tips that can move people along in their life. And then one time you've got a special offer.
And someone's asked a question here that I'm happy to answer. So it says, as a fellow attorney, what type of personal content do you think should be included on social media? And what I always tell people, especially in the legal realm, is that people don't buy into your law firm, they buy you. So, you know, I think Brown and Crouppen, I hate to highlight a massive firm like that has an unlimited amount of budget. So of course their marketing message is on point, but I think that what they do can also, you know, trickle down to solo practitioners or even small firms. And that is that they almost post no content that's related whatsoever to legal. I mean, like they're dissecting Batman movies to tell you how many crimes Batman committed, or they're, he brands himself as a professional cereal mixologist and tells you which cereals go with which. And people are really buying into his brand. So to directly answer your question of what type of social media posting you should be doing, absolutely. I love the example you give, alcohol preferences. I think people definitely have a stereotype with lawyers drink alcohol. And I think if you can buy, you know, somewhat into that and make humor out of it, again, people buy your personality and not your firm. So double down on your personality.
Perfect. Thank you all. I think you all gave an answer that will help with this next question. So competing with others online, it's hard to crave out a name for yourself, especially with everyone doing it nowadays. I've heard it's important to have consistent branding, but what does that mean? And how can my company stand out from the crowd? So Kevin and Palmer on the top search, we're going to go to you, one of you first.
I've got a thought on this, like right from the get-go. I think looking at other people online, especially the people within your industry, as competition can be actually detrimental to your business and to your overall message. You know, we've actually done collaborations with other marketing companies, and fantastic things have come out of it. You know, yes, I understand that a lot of times, you know, we could be going after the same client, but at the end of the day, we have our clients, other companies have their clients, and we can better serve each other, better serve our clients, better serve everyone with a spirit of collaboration. So I guess that's one thing I would say is rather than viewing people as competition, seeing them as potential collaborators. I saw something like two major brands like Coach and another one, I don't remember, I'm sorry, but like two major fashion brands actually came together and like put out a product together. And that cut through the noise, and that, you know, it was like two brands that everyone loved, and they came together for a product. And I, you know, that sort of thing, it shows that it's not competition. It shows that it's collaboration. And then also that cuts through the noise, you know what I mean? So I think looking for ways to collaborate with the people that you feel are your competition is one approach.
I think also Palmer is trying to underplay here that he doesn't know what those brands are called because he just bought a fabulous new Coach purse and he doesn't really want everybody to know about it. But yeah, nonetheless, what I would add to that is that in addition to seeing your competitors as potential collaborators, I also really press upon our small business owners, medium-sized and even large-sized clients, that the more time you are spending obsessing of what your competition's doing, the more time you are trying to emulate them, and you're going to be a cheap knockoff. So, you know, spend more time doubling down on your strengths, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, and spend less time focusing on your weakness and competitions. But also that needs to be balanced with that you can't completely ignore those and stick your head in the sand, because there are some valuable lessons that you can vicariously learn from others that may have failed or doing good things in the industry. But 75% of your time should be focused on your own business and not your competitors.
Absolutely, because innovation doesn't usually come from like looking at someone else and trying to copy them. I remember whenever iPhone came out, iPhone was like everything and it was everywhere, and then Android tried to come out after, and they were basically just like saying, yeah, but our specs are better than Apple. Like, we've got a more powerful this than Apple, but we've got a better this than Apple, and no one was buying into it at the time because they weren't selling their own brand. They weren't they weren't pushing themselves. They were trying to compare themselves to another brand. But they didn't compare because Apple was just like, yo, bro, we're Apple. That's it. Peace. Buy our product. And everyone did.
Okay. We're going to continue with that. Ed, to you. Competing with others online, what does it mean to have consistent branding, and how does your company stand out from the crowd?
Well, the easy answer for me is, I guess there's two things I would say. If you haven't thought about starting a co-op, if you can afford one of these fine folks that are up here, Kim Kramer, Kevin Puckett, or Palmer Davidson, if you don't want to hire a marketing company to help you with that, start a co-op. Pull together some unrelated businesses if you feel more comfortable with that, or partner with some that can help you think through. There's so much material out there that can help you organize what your messaging ought to be, who your audiences are, and how to attack those with the right tactics. Just do what you're doing today, come to a webinar, but then do some real work by connecting with others who want to move in the same direction you are with their marketing. And that won't cost you anything except your time. You do need to learn some things, and that's a part of the reason you hire folks like us is you definitely know your business, and you really do need to be focused on your business. But marketing is a key part of your business, and if you're not going to take some time to really learn and get it understanding yourself, you will miss out. You will not be as sharp as you need to be to stay ahead of the competition that you might be worried about. I remember in 7th grade, I was running a mile race. Yeah, I was running a mile race. And I didn't pay attention to who else was running the mile race. I just wanted to get that finish line. And when I saw the finish line and realized I was in front of everybody, I didn't need to worry about my competition. I just needed to head toward that finish line. Now, I ended up second because somebody else also saw that finish line, and he happened to have some more skills. But we both made it in first and second, and I had a great time.
Perfect. Kim?
That's awesome. One part of that question was about brand consistency, and I think that's pretty key. A lot of times you'll see even really big brands, even the big box guys in the world, like they'll put out on social media and across all digital channels, varying content that doesn't necessarily support their brand strategy, one, but certainly their brand personality, their tone. It doesn't necessarily consistently meet their audience across platforms in a way that reinforces their brand as being X, Y, and Z. It's very important. A lot of times people think about branding as your logo or your tagline or whatever. And that's one, honestly, kind of small piece of the bigger picture, because your brand is actually, again, those things that taking those core values and building some language around it and making sure that, obviously your services dovetail with it, but that your messaging across every channel, that your imagery is spot on, that you are actually putting the right logo out every time, that it does have consistent coloring and fonts and all that. Yes. But also the messaging and making sure that everything supports a fundamental message or two, but that all dovetail with your brand. And I agree with you. There's competition can absolutely be collaborative. And again, I think competition is kind of an even outdated word, but I do think we're all trying to stand out in the marketplace. There's no doubt about it. That's why we're here on this webinar. I also think being authentic and transparent is a huge deal, especially with generations younger than my own. It's become very obvious that if you can build an authentic voice around your brand and put that out consistently across channels, and work with people and meet them where they are, you're going to stand out.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. We're going to move on to a slightly different kind of topic. Obviously still marketing, but this next question is, my business is a storefront and traffic has dropped significantly. How can I add online marketing or other options, and can I add them quickly enough to survive? So I think, Kim, you're up first on this one.
Oh, okay. I'll try to be more brief than I've been. It is such a challenge, right? If you're used to having a storefront and seeing people face to face. I read a quote not long ago. I can't recall who said it, but it was basically that before COVID, digital marketing was on the agenda. Now with COVID, digital marketing is the agenda, or at least having a great digital presence. Everything shifted, right? So if you have a brand that you have traditionally relied on foot traffic, or even just your old clientele, the people, you've basically leaned too heavily almost on your existing clients. This is a perfect time. Don't panic. It's a perfect time to get out there. In fact, a lot of my company, well, not a lot, a handful of my brands that we represent are actually taking this time to relaunch. Like they're actually just pivoting, even if they had a solid digital presence to begin with. They're reshaping their message, they're updating their branding, they're updating their website, they're making sure everything's on point. Because the good news of all this is that there will be a relaunching of, and it might look different to us all, but there will be a relaunching of business as we know it. So it's a chance to pivot, right? And we're pivoting to digital. We don't have a choice. Short answer, no, okay, long answer, but the quick part about getting on, is it too late? No, you can jump in. What I would say, and what we've kind of illuminated before, is that don't do it willy-nilly, be strategic. You need a little help with that. Any of us can help you with that, but certainly don't wait. You know, so this is an indicator of what may or may not come. Obviously something like this probably won't happen again, knock on wood, but we have to be nimble. That's the deal. You have to be nimble, get out there and start now.
Ed, would you like to go ahead and add to that, please?
One big thing, I think, to follow on what Kim said, is if you haven't thought about online marketing, you definitely need to be doing it. You know, if you're not having any traffic in your storefront, that doesn't mean that there still aren't people out there. There are many people, and so you have to go where they're at. And so that the digital thing, anything that fits on this little screen here, you need to be doing something with this. And so I threw a bunch of stuff into the group chat just to see if it would work and accept everything that I threw into it. And there's some links in there about some Google shopping stuff and some other ways of doing e-commerce just to get your taste buds wetted. But go look into that. You definitely need to be thinking about your e-commerce options.
All right, Kevin and Palmer, you guys want to add anything to that one?
I think what I would add is answering the latter part of the question first. Is it too late? Absolutely not. It's never too late to add to the conversation or to attempt to start to be more relevant in that area. Even if you've slacked off in the digital marketing space, what we're telling most of our clients right now, particularly our newer clients that are coming to see us, as they're now prioritizing digital marketing and they're needing that full sales and marketing funnel created from top of the funnel, you know, website and app development and whatnot, all the way down to a strategic marketing approach, is that staying in the conversation is the best way to stay relevant right now. You know, obviously that comes in many formats, text, blogs, but for our company, at least, it's more video. And right now everybody's got a iPhone or an Android with some ability to capture cheap, easy video. And it can be difficult to stick out with all of the COVID noise right now, but that's definitely one of your best chances to do so, is stay in the conversation, produce video, let people know you're innovating and you're making those critical entrepreneurial pivots, and that these are the ways that they can support you. And don't be afraid to go for that right hook, as Gary Vee would say, letting them know that you've added this new drive-through, you've added this new online service, you know, they can buy gift cards and stuff here, you know, because people won't know unless you tell them. So stay relevant and stay in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, digitizing your products, you know, like taking, if this is retail, it kind of read like it was retail, the storefront, you know, getting all of your products visible online, that's one step of this, right? That's basically extending your storefront to the digital space. After that, I mean, you whenever you open your business initially, you didn't just unlock the door and then stand there waiting with a smile on your face, hoping, right? Like you probably had some sort of strategy to get people in the door. So it's no different with digital. Once you've got your digital store set up, however you end up doing that, then you've got to get people in, right? And so that's where, you know, a full digital marketing plan and strategy is really important, just like it was whenever you opened your physical location, to drive people to your site, to drive people to your store, and convert. You know, you got to get them there, and then you've got to make sure that they're making purchases and all of that. So it's not like it's going to be a super easy process. So I wouldn't say you'd be able to just like do it in an afternoon unless you have like 3 products, which, you know, it's great. But yeah, just get started now with the whole digitizing process, and then yeah, if you don't have any experience with digital marketing, reach out to somebody who does, and they would definitely be one of us would be able to help you get from store open to stores now functional and making you
Okay, we're going to move on. We've had some great points brought up. So I think this might be an interesting question. And we are going to start with Kevin or Palmer, someone from on the top. What free options or tools are out there that will help my business from a content creation perspective?
I love this one. And it's one that I think we've answered probably 100 times now, especially for those smaller business owners that either can't afford full service digital marketing services or, obviously funds are tight right now, but they still see the importance of adding to the conversation. So first and foremost, it's the device that you're probably not listening to me right now and fiddling with in your hands that, it's not necessarily free, but you've already paid for it, so utilize it. It's a tool and you've got to wield it correctly for you to have any kind of meaningful results out of it. But number two, these seem obvious, but Facebook is free. It doesn't cost you anything to use your free cell phone to post videos to your YouTube, to your Facebook. Be doing that. Aside from that, some of the other softwares that we see our clients use internally, because we work with a lot of marketing directors and stuff that are doing this, is Canva. Canva is a great place to grab templates and other free resources that can truly turn you into a graphic designer overnight. I would highly recommend Canva for a multitude of different uses and a myriad of different applications you could have for your business, with creating charts, to creating video templates, to creating slides, and to continue to add to the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of a snob about Canva whenever it first came out. Whenever it was like, no, dude, I use Photoshop. I use Illustrator for things. I go in and I use the Adobe tools. I'm not going to use this free garbage. And then Kevin's like, no, seriously, man, just for this one client, I want you to go in and use Canva for this. And I was like, all right. So I went in there and got the graphic done in like 2 minutes. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm bought in now. And most of the stuff on Canva is free. And so you don't have to think about the design element of it. They've done most of that for you. You just take it, grab it, and make it look the way you want it to look. So yeah, that's that. And then like Kevin said, man, just hopping on your phone, using the camera on your phone and saying something. Don't be verbose. Don't go on and on and on like I'm doing right now. Make it short, sweet, to the point, real and fun, and put out content. I mean, your phone, between the camera on your phone and Canva, there's not a lot that you can't accomplish. Maybe not at the quality of some of these higher end things, but especially if you're a local business, like people just want to know you exist and what it is you're doing and what it is you're offering. So like Kevin said, stay top of mind and stay in the conversation.
Ed, would you like to add?
Yeah, just a couple quick little things. If you haven't heard it yet from Kevin and Palmer, take pictures, take video, and not just of yourself or your team, but how about your clients? Get their testimonials that way, and repeat those on any social media you have. That's all free, and it can't hurt you to do those things if you keep it short, sweet, pithy. I would do that as a team as well. And the more you work with others, the more likely it is you're going to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And whether that's working with one of us up here or getting your band together, the group of 6 or 10 people that you truly trust that need to do the same thing. And so I'll just keep reiterating that. The other thing I think I'll throw in here is, if you haven't looked at your Google My Business, please do so. There's a whole lot you can do in listings, but just go get your Google My Business, because I've looked at many of yours and you haven't. Go get it. Thank you.
Kim?
Yeah, so I totally agree. And I'm glad to hear Palmer admit the whole design snob thing, because we are also that way. And I've been telling my staff, go out and get those tools. They're free, they're easy to use. You can embed video in there. And dovetailing on the video, which if we haven't made this point already, video is critical. It's going to bump you, your SEO, it's going to make it more engaging. Your content will really thrive on video if it's done well. So the only caveat to what we're saying here, in my opinion, is whether it's photo, video, content curation, you're designing your own graphics. Again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to have your consistent branding kind of package right in front of you, the kinds of fonts, colors, lighting, so on that you're going to use, because it's not uncommon to see what you think is a rock solid brand, and then someone will put out a video that's really willy-nilly and like bad lighting, and there's somebody running around the background. That's okay for now, but like I'm suggesting that as you kind of up your game a little bit in that regard, and especially on these online tools, they are very flexible, but be strategic in it and make sure everything reflects your brand. The other thing I'll point out, in addition to Canva, there's like literally like 15 free video editing tools online. You can bring in stock video and edit it, add text, do all kinds of cool things, and help enhance your image by virtue of those tools. You can also take the imagery that you've captured on your own and embed that into some of your posts. So if you ever need help with any of that, obviously we all know how to do that. We'd be happy to share some resources.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to keep going kind of along the same lines of that question, because I got a great one here in the chat, and it says, we are thinking of doing a 3 to 5 minute video case study with one of our customers. What is the best way to bring a case study to customers through video? Where should we put the video once it's finished, on social media or just on our website? I think we'll go ahead and start with Ed on this one.
You know, this is where you caught me with, I'm reading ahead to find some things out. I'm going to just actually say Kim's got the right answer for this. I'm just going to hand it over to her.
You're phoning a friend. Okay.
Yes.
You know, here's my bottom line answer to that, and I'm so glad somebody asked it. It doesn't matter if it's video or any blog entries, whatever, blog posts. Use your content across every channel, repurpose and kind of morph your content, whatever it is, to meet every digital channel that you're a part of. And so like for video, for example, and I forgot if you said it was an interview or testimonial, whatever, use it everywhere. Make sure it's formatted correctly, make sure it's captioned in an important and relevant way to whatever channel you're on. And of course, again, the branding reinforcement. But anytime you get pictures made, a new headshot, you get a brand photography session all buttoned up, spread that stuff all over the place. And you don't have to roll it out all at once. You could kind of stair step, like I was saying, those content buckets earlier. You could stair step the rollout so that you are remaining relevant in all your different channels at a nice pace where not everything is redundant. But I can't tell you enough, repurposing content is the easiest, most cost-effective way to keep your content relevant and continue to reinforce your brand.
Yeah, I think that's a great expansion on that, Kim. The only thing that I would also add to this is what we call with this question is, where should I put it? You know, whether that's on your website or this, is I say it's omni-channel. It's all channels that you possibly could, as long as the content adds value, or you know is going to move the needle for your business. And even if you don't know, if it's good quality content, get it out there. You know, it's not a matter of, oh, I put it on this one, or, oh, you know, this one is better than that one. I don't think there's any such thing. I think that is trying to pick out individual instances in what should be a full, robust marketing campaign. So for your example of the testimonials, that should not only make your website, but you should also funnel any kind of pitch decks and proposals that you're sending out to link back out to there to say, hey, here's what our customers say about this. Whether that's your YouTube channel or the testimonials page of your website. I mean, content like that, you are better off being an omni approach and getting out there any and all ways possible.
Absolutely agree. And I would also add, if your testimonial video is 5 minutes long, like that's almost a documentary at that point. So I wouldn't go quite that long. I'd keep it on the shorter side. Not everyone wants to hear everything you want to say, right? Like whenever you're creating content, it's good to keep in mind what the viewer wants to take in. So like, why is someone watching a testimonial video? Well, they're trying to build trust with your brand, right? You don't need to do that in 5 minutes. You could probably get it done in one, but I wouldn't go much over 3 minutes unless the story's riveting and there's a lot of like twists and turns and you can really demonstrate like a full breadth of just an incredible story. But you know, most of the time it's pretty straightforward, right? It's like, I offered this, it went out this way, it worked like this, they were satisfied with the results, and it was a good transaction. I will say that if you're doing a testimonial, trying to, like, I think Kevin might have mentioned this, but like, and also building on what Ed had said, take pictures of yourself with your clients throughout the entire process of working with them. You know, document it, keeping in mind that you're going to be making these testimonials as you get closer to finishing the project. You know, that's something that we've neglected. We haven't done as good of a job as I would like of documenting every moment with our clients. But, you know, we've really been doubling down on that here in the last couple of months. You know, every time we we go out to do a shoot, you know, make a video with a client or something. I'm taking selfies, I'm filming little bits of conversations and some of the fun times that we have, because we do it, we have a blast. And we also, we create amazing results for our clients. And I do want people to see that stuff. So, and that's something else that Gary Vaynerchuk says all the time. You don't have to create every single thing. If you're documenting, document is more powerful than creation, because you don't have to think about what's happening. You just capture what's happening and then share it later.
Awesome. Susie, you have a next question for us?
Yes, absolutely. We are going to, so we had a question on the side that I think I'm going to be able to put into this next question. So what is the best online platforms to advertise through right now? And with that on the side, how relevant is creating a YouTube channel for your business? And we're going to start with Kim.
Okay, so, you know, it's unfortunately all eyes are on, well, like Ed said earlier, this little guy or on their computer right now. So, you know, people are watching more TV than they normally do, but that's kind of an out of this budget kind of conversation more than likely for most people. But certainly, you know, finding them and meeting them on social is a big deal. Making sure that your website's all buttoned up, because all of to the earlier question about not having the face-to-face interaction, if everything's happening through digital, then your digital is your best outlet, right? So social media is a very inexpensive way to advertise right now, and it's reaching a broad audience. We were just updating our website last week, and I was looking at some analytics on one of our clients who in the last week, his engagement rate's up like 417% or something. Wow. And it's just by virtue of putting out more content. It's really, there was no magic. There was only a small budget, a little bit of money spent on a paid ad, but all eyes are on digital. So that's where you need to be. So that means social media. You know, it's funny because, excuse me, without commute time, radio kind of has just fallen off. Nobody's listening to the radio right now. But we're watching TV and we're online, so that's where you need to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely back that sentiment. So in addition to, obviously nobody listened to radio because all of the stay-home orders, they're also clearly not driving by billboards. And statistically, what we're seeing not only from Facebook and Google is that website traffic is up some 35%. Social media traffic is up some 45, 50%, which is just unreal when you think about that. Those numbers are to the tune of hundreds of millions of people. But just like Kim said, we've had so many clients that are ranging from anywhere from a 200 to 500% increase in their social media traffic, just because they're the few people that aren't afraid to add video content and produce the content that people want. And here's what I always tell people: as marketers, our job is not to be romantic about one certain avenue to put our client's budget. It's to be romantic about putting their budget or putting their content where it gets the most amount of exposure for the least amount of dollars. And just like Kim said, unfortunately right now, that's not with billboards, that's not with radio. If billboards became $2 tomorrow and everybody was back to work, being a full digital marketer, I could no longer be romantic about that or ethical about that. I'd be putting all my clients' money in there, and I'd be like, look, you can't come up with $2 a month for this. This is totally worth it. Look at all the exposure you're getting. But right now, you know, we have clients that are as low as $5 a day on Facebook that are literally reaching hundreds of thousands of people a month in impressions and click-throughs and playthroughs. So your money goes the farthest right now on digital, and you get the benefit of these stay-at-home orders, weird to say that, for more engagement.
And to answer the question, how relevant is creating a YouTube channel for your business? I mean, it's kind of what we've been saying this whole time, omni-channel. I mean, there's no point in not being there. So definitely go ahead and set that up and create that and follow all the best practices there. But if you actually want success on YouTube, consistency is the key. You got to post consistently. You got to upload. If you say, I'm going to upload every Thursday, you need to upload every Thursday. You need to start with all your immediate contacts, all your friends, all your, you know, your family, your business contacts that you've got good relationship with, and get them all to sign up, to subscribe to your content. And then you just have to be consistent with your posting, go around and like comment on other people's stuff and like interact and try to get into that community. But I think that's one of the things that gets overlooked in marketing, is that this is social media, right? Like, a lot of times we're looking about, you know, at the algorithm and how do we exploit the algorithm to make sure that blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, you know, it's about community, and it's about offering something to the community. It's about building relationship. It's about building a bridge between you, your brand, and the other human beings that exist in this world. And so regardless of where you're at, you need to understand the platform and you need to be creating community while you're there. And then specifically, like, what platform should you be on? Excuse me. TikTok is great, but if you're trying to reach seniors, maybe don't be on TikTok. Facebook is fantastic, but if you're trying to reach Gen Z, that's not the place to be for them. So it is contextual. It is reliant upon what your product is and who it is you're trying to reach with those things. But regardless, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation, be authentic, and be consistent.
Palmer, I would just add, I'd tag on to be authentic, but you're providing value and not just self-promotion announcements. And that's, I think, something I see a lot of that happens with a lot of posting is you can't stop talking about yourself. Provide value, provide value, provide value. Your content matters. And I would give you this challenge. You can create good content. You can create content that is valuable. And I had a friend of mine, I think he's actually on the call out there, Matt Woods, God bless you, brother, is craft 100 words a day. You can put 100 words out there and you can make it the best 100 words in that day. And consider that your blog, whether you post it or not, but you can get 100 words a day done. And so add that as a goal.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the fact that we have 12 minutes left on the call. And so I'm going to throw two questions together that I think might hit home for some people. And then if you guys want to continue to share your questions in the chat, and then also we're going to post this on the website afterwards, and we're going to have information on our resource page in order for you guys to get in contact with Ed, Kim, Kevin, and Palmer after the fact. So I know we're trying to cover as much as we can here. So if we can keep answers short and sweet, you guys are doing a great job. Next question though is, how can I drive traffic to my website, and how can analytics help shape my content? So I think we'll start, Kevin and Palmer, we're starting with you guys this round.
Sure. So at the top of every marketing and sales funnel for our clients, being a full service digital marketing agency, we're developing everywhere from small business websites to complex websites for Marriott and apps every day here. We have a full website development department. So it's a question that I'm glad was followed up with. And how do I not just build a website and hope it performs, but how do I use analytics to bolster the effectiveness of that website and ultimately result in what everybody cares about, which are not just leads, but conversions. So analytics is really the same thing that they are for social media, that they are for websites. They are the backbone that helps elucidate what's actually driving results and what's not. What is your bounce rate? How long are people staying on your website? Particularly, what content on your website are people engaging with? Is your website too wordy? Does it need to be more visual? Analytics help expand and flush out all of that. So here at OTTS, we pretty much live and die by those. We take our opinion out of every website development and we let the data speak for itself, because at the end of the day, the data is probably the most powerful tool in helping us assess the direction of getting that top of the funnel marketing component complete and optimized before we worry about anything else below it.
Absolutely agree. And so for me, my thought on this is with the analytics, it's really important to have a lot of data, right? You have to have a lot of information about what it is you're doing. So from like a content creation perspective, putting out consistent content and experimenting, like view every post as an experiment, because if you focus on these posts and you're hoping for a certain amount of likes or a certain amount of engagement, you're going to be disappointed if those expectations aren't met. But if you're looking at it as an experiment, I'm going to put this out and see how it performs. Oh, okay, that did this well. Perform, and then you have, let's say, 3 months worth of posts. Then you go back to the analytics and you look at like what drove engagement, what drove people to the website. Try a different call to action, try images, try text, try, on LinkedIn, try uploading a PDF, like go nuts and like put out all sorts of different types of information, all sorts of different types of content, and then analyze those to see, okay, well, this one actually increased the number of likes I had on my platform, but this type actually sent more people to my store, and then this one, there are different types of contents with different types of goals. And the more data you have, the more you analyze that stuff, you can understand what's going to drive what kind of content's going to drive what kind of action.
Well, Palmer, what we always use in all of our proposals is this one saying, you know, marketing without data is like driving with your eyes closed. So if you're going to engage in marketing, be tracking it. Otherwise, it's wasted effort. And I hate to say that, but it's, you know, otherwise you're guessing at what drove results, and take the guesswork out of it. Track your stuff.
And driving blindfolded can be fun, but kind of dangerous.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I totally agree about analytics for sure. I would say if we drop it down to a little more elementary level, just for some tidbits for what you can do quickly, I'm always amazed by even, you know, successful mid-sized to larger companies who don't drive traffic back to their website, but rather there's no real way for someone to engage their brand further. They see a post and they love it. Go up to the bio, do they find the website? Or if they are even on their website, how do you get them further through the funnel? You have to have calls to action, right? You have to have ways for people to get further into your pipeline. And so if you're on social, for example, make sure you have at the very minimum, you know, a link to your website in your bio. Better yet, there's a tool called Linktree. It's free. You can create I don't even know how many, maybe 9 or 10 different links from your bio in Instagram. And it can link to your website, to your YouTube channel, to all of your other social media. So I guess the answer is make it really easy for them to find your website first. First and foremost, go back and do a little website audit to make sure, or a social audit to make sure that it's all pointing back to your website. Speaking of which, at the end of all this, because I know we're going to be wrapping up soon, we have developed a landing page for you guys, just the webinar attendees today, that if you go onto SquarePeg, it's squarepeg.marketing/Olathe-chamber. I'll put that in the thing, in the chat, where we would love to offer you just a quick digital audit of either your website or your social media. I'm sure all these guys could help, no doubt about it. But these are two of the things I think before you you do need to do a deep dive into analytics, but you also, first and foremost, let's make sure that you're pointing people to the right place, right? So, and that you got your brand messaging and all that wrapped up. So I'll put that link in there and you guys can hop on. I think we have room for like 20 of them or so, and you can grab one of those little complimentary audits.
Perfect. Ed, last up on that question.
You know, I just heartily agree with everything they've said, which is easy to say. What's harder to do is to actually slow down enough to pay attention to what is real. I love the analogy of a vehicle and driving blind. Can you imagine pulling out of your driveway with blinders on? It just only works in a Tesla in about 2 years, maybe. But you do need to pay attention to what people are really thinking, saying, doing, and you have to measure that. So if you don't have your code, your content, and your chatter lined out in the right way, if you don't pay attention to how you do that, then you cannot take good steps forward. You're just spinning around in the forest, and a bear's going to eat you.
Perfect. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. It's about 9:55, so we only have them for 5 more minutes, and I want to ask one last question. First of all, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Like Ashley said, we're going to post this on our website, on our COVID-19 resource page, and we will have all the contact information. But really quick, last question is, out of everything we've said today, if you could tell one thing, just one thing, to these people that have joined us today, what is that one thing that you would say? And we're gonna start. I don't even know whose turn it is. Ashley, do you know? We're gonna.
Sure. Was it me?
We're gonna start with Ed. Sure. Ed, we're gonna start with you.
I just will reiterate: go out and claim your Google My Business. You just really need to make sure you own that listing, and then start looking at other ones. Google My Business. It's all free. It's absolutely free. Even if you don't have a website, which I know you need, and you know you need. There's a way to get started there. So just go to Google My Business. Google My Business. Thank you.
Kim?
I think my one takeaway would be more philosophical is, you know, this seems like a lot of information. You're like social media, web, you know, all these other things that you have to be worried about and trying to do, and you're busy trying to run your own business and just kind of get better at what you're good at already. I would say, don't freak out. Baby step into it. marketing and digital marketing in particular is kind of foundational. In other words, it's progressive. You have to have some bones in place before everything else even matters. So take it in baby steps. And a lot of these things can be done on a really small budget, and they can be done methodically over time. So you don't have to leave here going, holy cow, I'm like dropping all these balls, but rather just kind of talk to one of us a little bit more and say, okay, what's the strategy? What can I handle in quarter 1 or quarter 2 or quarter 3? And then roll it out, be consistent, stay on point. And when you have some extra money, throw it, you know, where you think is best and where meets your audience the best. That's my nugget.
I think what I would recommend is to stay relevant. And the way that you're going to stay relevant is getting outside of that comfort zone and doing what all entrepreneurial spirited people do. And that is make that pivot right now that everybody needs to be making. And that is to get out of that comfort zone, to stay in the conversation, stay relevant, let people know about how you're making that entrepreneurial pivot. And don't be afraid to ask for the right hook right now. Even if that is that your business is struggling, that people really do step up and want to help small business. So now is the time to call in that favor. And I saw this great meme that was like, you know, look, Amazon doesn't support your local soccer team, and all of those small businesses that have been supporting all of these local community endeavors. It's okay to ask for a right hook right now. Do it.
Yeah, that was great, Kevin. That's all I have to say. No, yeah, I guess for me, it's just look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Just kind of build on what Kim said. Don't freak out, calm down. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to have all the answers. If you don't have a mentor, if you don't have a team, if you don't have people that you feel like you can go to, that you can trust to give you guidance and give you the kind of information you need, then reach out to somebody. You know, whether that's a marketing company that's here on this call that you pay to get like top tier results. That's great. That's an option. Maybe it's someone from your church. Maybe it's someone from your neighborhood. Maybe it's a father-in-law. I don't care who it is. Just get someone that you can go to with business questions. Get someone that you can go to when you need encouragement, because a lot of you folks are at the top of your ladder, and everyone's looking to you for guidance, and everyone's looking to you for what to do next. And if you don't have someone that you can go to, then whenever you're having an off day and then the wheels fall off, you're isolated and you're alone and you're floating on an island. I mean, that's why it's so important to have community. So if you don't have someone that you can trust, that you can reach out to, then get someone. And it's not weakness. We're community creatures. We need it. We crave it. And if you don't have someone you can go to, then just find somebody.
Perfect. All right, real quick, I just want to thank again Edward Roche, Kim Kramer, Palmer Davidson, and Kevin Puckett from On the Top Search, Square Peg Marketing and Branding, and then Strategy LLC. So thank you all. Real quick, I know I said those all crazy, but contact chamber staff, like Ashley said, and we can get you any information about our wonderful panelists. Real quick, I just want to put a nugget in everyone's ear. Every Friday at 9 a.m., we've been offering webinars related to your business. Next Friday is no different. At 9 a.m., we are hoping to do, we're actually in the works right now, of doing a webinar on reopening for business and what that looks like. The state of Kansas, of course, is done with the stay-at-home order May 3rd. Johnson County has extended it to May 10th. And then some other states, May 18th, our state, some other businesses in our state. So we're going to have a variety of panelists, and we hope you can join us for that as well. So thank you all for your time this morning, and have a great day.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you for hosting.
On LinkedIn.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Hi. Thanks for hosting Olathe Chamber. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Ed, for being here.
Thanks, guys. Very well done.
I see you, Jeff Powell. Thanks for being here, man.
Bye, guys.
Bye.